And we're live. Mind Who's podcast to show the freshest opinions and views on the world's most beautiful game. I am your host, Greg. I'm here with the homies Bryan, TK.
Low management.
And Keith on the mix, boys. How we feeling?
Yo, I'm feeling good, man. Why y'all take shots at me like that? That's normally my job.
Hey, man, it's all love here.
Hey, I'm feeling great as well. Came off a really productive week, trying to be more productive.
That's big time. That's big time.
My low management is coming up. I can't even blame him.
I'm proud of you, man. You brought a new child into the world.
Hey, look, that's what happens. You got
Doris Burke.
Yes,
What?
Doris Burke.
You got his new car, y'all. If y'all didn't know, named her Doris.
Yes.
At John Tough.
Because she's the most reliable woman in my life.
Oh, wow.
Besides my mother.
I was about to say, whoa. Shots. Sheesh.
So everybody doing good. We're doing good.
Yeah, man, I'm doing good.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's been a kind of quiet week.
I think that's all about to change, though.
But December 15th is here. And for those who do not know, 90% of the league is up for trade now. Due to the fact that a lot of players were signed off in free agency. So now a lot of players are eligible to be traded. Looking at this, it hasn't been a lot of moves that's been made as of late. I can't even think of a trade that's been made as of late.
There
There's
hasn't
not been
trade.
one trade made this NBA season yet,
Nothing.
which is shocking.
So my question would be to you, what team do you think will make the first move or needs to make that move?
I already threw out the name Portland. Portland's not in a tank mode at all. They're trying to figure this out to make the playoffs. I think they're standing at like 10 and 15 right now, something around there. They already signed Melo. That was their, if we could trade right now, we would kind of moment where they understood that they're going to need to bring additional pieces to that team. Their next goal has always been, they have mutual interest in each other and Kevin Love.
Yeah.
I think they could possibly get something out of that. It's just that his contract is so massive as well. And then on the other hand, still staying in the West, I believe that the Jazz, who haven't had the most impressive season, may look to bring in another additional piece. Nothing substantial or anything. Maybe just to fill out the bench more. Okay. But I definitely think it'll probably start in the West. But I don't think the trading is going to get as explosive as some people think it's going to be. Mm-hmm. I think part of the reason we haven't gotten a trade yet, even though today's the first day they're eligible, but nothing has already fired off, is because I don't think that there are going to be that many changes made via trade.
Okay.
I think a lot of teams just built up a new team. Like, we saw the NBA kind of reset.
Right.
So it's hard to say, hey, December 15th is here. Let's trade away all these pieces. It's going to be here and there, but this season might be the lowest amount of trades ever in the history, like when it's all said and done.
I don't know. I might disagree with that.
Yeah, me too. I think, and here's the thing, I don't think a lot of contenders are going to make trades. Like, I think the Lakers are going to stay pat for the most part. Clippers are going to stay pat for the most part. Milwaukee, I mean, they recognize they don't really have a lot of pieces to move. Philly's always interesting just because it seems like they don't know what they want to do most of the time. But Miami, Boston, Toronto, all these teams that you would say are contenders or low-key contenders, I don't see a lot of them making moves. But everybody at the bottom, your Portlands, Orlando, Chicago, Detroit, like all these teams are probably either looking themselves in the mirror and going, hey, either we're real close to being in playoff contention, or are we tanking right now and we're rebuilding? Like we got to make a decision on what we're doing in the next month or two. So I could see a team like New Orleans. They got a lot of veteran players that
and I would hope they would get somewhere. Like, I honestly would love to see Drew Holiday in a better I'm not gonna say better organization, a better position to win.
Right.
Right now. Yeah. So somewhere where he can actually go far in the playoffs. I wish there was a team that would be able to go up there and grab him. But as you said, Brian, I do agree that those teams who are contending aren't going to make any more major moves.
So, but then becomes the thing like, okay, those teams that are like right outside that like contender window, those, like say, even though I consider Denver a contender, I know a lot of people don't, but like Denver going to get like a Drew Holiday. Like, that'd be a real good move for them. Like, they need another two-way guard, somebody that can take pressure off Jokic. Utah being another team, they could go get somebody like a JJ Redick from New Orleans because they need shooting.
Shooters, yeah.
Like, Utah has like 4 or 5 veteran players that people need in this league. New Orleans, I'm sorry. Derek Favors is another veteran big man. Boston could use, in all honesty. Like, they have a lot of players that you can see moving. OKC, Chris Paul Like, it's still up for grabs. Granted, contract's ridiculous,
It's facts.
but still up for grabs. There's a lot of players I can see changing hands in that scope of day just for teams trying to vie or put themselves in rebuild mode. I just be keeping real.
Okay, so you named a few names. I said this name earlier when we were just talking. Blake Griffin. Right now, Detroit's sitting at the 10th spot. They're 11-15. The team has been struggling. Some say it's because Blake is playing bad. I think that situation just ran its course in itself.
In a year?
He's been there 2 years.
2 years.
Right?
Two?
Two. But, I mean, yeah. In 2 years, it's ran its course.
I say this. The Pistons put themselves in a position where I applaud them. They were never tanking. They tried to put together a competitive basketball team each and every year out there, regardless of whether they were the 9th seed or the 4th seed. They didn't care what seeding. They wanted to make the playoffs.
Right.
Their ownership has come forth and clearly has been supporting that or even influencing it in some kind of way. But they're never going to break any kind of hump with the roster they have now or even the centerpieces they have now. I don't think Blake and Derek really fit well next to each other.
Andre Drummond, what happens with him? I mean, he's 26.
Andre's better than DeAndre, though. Andre's better than DeAndre, though. Yeah, I said it.
What, Andre Drummond is better than who?
DeAndre
Jordan?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
No one brought that up.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I just heard somebody say DeAndre.
Nah,
No.
bro. You
My
just
fault. My fault. I could have sworn I just heard somebody say
got
DeAndre
combative
Jordan.
for not like nobody
I
said
wasn't even
DeAndre.
getting better. I was just stating the point, but I could have sworn I just heard somebody say DeAndre. So I was
Nah,
like,
no
You
one
got,
said
you got
DeAndre,
some
man.
personal
My bad.
vices against
My
DeAndre
bad.
Jordan.
my bad.
Hey,
I was-
hey,
I
side
thought-
note, man. Brian thinks Andre Jordan's better than DeAndre Jordan.
He is.
Just
I mean, I agree
Just
with
threw
you.
that
I just
out
don't
there.
understand.
I just thought I heard it.
Alright.
My fault, though.
You know when you got a point and you're really trying to drive it through, but
I mean, so
it just
we-
wasn't the time.
Like, yo, we were talking about Blake Griffin. I thought I heard
Yeah.
DeAndre, so I was like, oh well, we saw. I thought
Nah,
the
he
point
said
I
Derrick
heard.
Rose.
Okay,
And
I
then
mistook Derrick.
And
for
then he
DeAndre.
went to Andre Drummond, right?
See, Derrick and Andre.
Don't.
No,
DeAndre,
no,
you
no.
see that?
Brian
You
was
see
sitting
that?
there shaking like, I hate DeAndre. I hate DeAndre.
Derrick, Andre, DeAndre. You can put that together.
Stop trying to get validation from Keith. That it don't work. Okay.
Keith, back me up, man, over there.
That ain't it. That ain't it.
Oh man, I can't stand y'all.
So yeah, man. So Andre Drummond, he's 26. I would say he is still a very, very valuable player.
You said Andre Drummond?
Andre Drummond, not DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, I was getting confused. Nah, Andre Drummond definitely is. And he puts up monstrous numbers randomly. Like, whenever he feels like it, he's a monster on the boards. He's still young, entering his prime. Andre Drummond could be a really good, serviceable, starting big man on a lot of contending teams that need one a la the Celtics.
Right. So I am curious to see what the Pistons do because they are definitely one of those teams that are outside looking in.
And they probably stay outside.
And they're going to stay outside looking in. Granted, Blake only played 14 games because of injury. He's been in and out, but he's not playing well. Shooting 36%, 27 from 3. Even though he has improved his jump shot a lot, it's just not showing right now. And I think that's because he's been in and out. And this roster just doesn't work for him. But I think if they get the older guys out, hold on to the Luke Kennards and the Thon Makers, kind of see what they can do and bring in some new blood.
They have to just stop and rebuild. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But like I said, the problem is ownership, front office, everybody up top would love to have a competitive team. Detroit wants to have competitive basketball. So at that point,
I
they're
respect
never
it for sure.
Yeah, but at some point, you should have a year when you're like, this is not our year. Let's reset and let's try to be competitive the next. Like, realistically. And you guys know how big of a hater of tanking I am. Like, I was on the flip the lotto.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with the Pistons, I appreciate your competitiveness, but you're not getting anywhere by being that aggressive that just to stay at the 9th seed or the 8th seed, barely squeak into the playoffs every other year. We appreciate it as fans of the sport, but from an organizational standpoint, to actually better your entire situation,
Right.
you're probably gonna have to lose first, and it's okay because sometimes you have to lose to win.
I realize you just made our point for us, but okay.
No, that's why I didn't say anything.
Just with the Pistons, but mind you, they could always just end up at the bottom of the lottery. Just because they lost the most games doesn't really mean too much. It's still a lottery. We just want higher chances for people who compete better. So if the Pistons did finish ninth this year, they could have that chance. That's what I was getting at. But continue, Greg, because I ain't combative today. Because today is a good day. It's the Lord's Day. It's Sunday. Hey, y'all.
So another team, Spurs. We talked about them earlier.
Talked about them a lot.
And I think it's safe to say LaMarcus and
DeMar.
My bad.
It's over.
Gosh,
So-
you can't remember DeMar DeRozan's name. It's gotten that bad?
It happens when you're not playing well, you're not winning.
You get lost by the
You
wayside.
get lost, man. You get lost. And I think that's exactly what's happening with the Spurs. And I think the younger guys just need room to do them and let Pop work with that group.
DeJounte needs just more time on the floor. Lonnie needs more touches and shot attempts.
So looking at the Spurs, I think they're finally going to have to say this just isn't working. But that's another issue where I don't know where they go. Like, I don't know where LaMarcus Aldridge goes. I don't know where.
He doesn't fit in today's NBA. Not anymore,
No.
just because of his age.
Right. So
If he was 27, he could definitely be serviceable somewhere.
exactly.
But he's on the tail end of his career. At this point, he should have stayed with Dame. Should have just stayed in Portland.
I don't know. At the time, I thought it was a great decision.
At the time, I felt horrible. Dame just lost 4 of his 5 starters.
I mean, in terms of LaMarcus going to the Spurs,
Oh, no, I've been saying LaMarcus should have got out of there. But in hindsight, it's 2020, so I'm going to flip that right now. LaMarcus should have stayed.
All right.
I get to be wrong.
So another team that I think should make some decisions. They're 17-9, and right now they're the 5th seed in the West, the Houston Rockets. They've already been talking. They've always been aggressive. What do they do?
I don't think there's anything out there that they can get.
Yeah. Your money is tied into James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Clint Capella, Eric Gordon. Like, I don't know anybody that's going to take on Eric Gordon for his contract.
Nobody is.
You're not trading Clint Capella.
You can't because your whole team is going to fall apart.
You're not trading Harden or Westbrook. At best, they're looking to make a fringe move. They're going to try to pick up somebody. Excuse me. They're going to try to pick up somebody around the trade deadline, a veteran that gets waived or released. They're going to try to pick somebody up like that, an Andre Iguodala, somebody in that category.
I believe this could be wrong, but I believe I heard that they were going to try and put their hat in for the Andre Iguodala sweepstakes when that came to an end, when that got settled with.
They said that. They were saying that at the beginning of the year.
Now, I don't see why Andre Iguodala would want to go there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they just own.
So, I don't know. I think James needs someone to help in terms of the defensive end.
Whoa.
The defensive end. Because he's going to do a thing being essentially one of the greatest scorers of our generation.
One, this is a Mike D'Antoni system. So that whole D word you just used, take that out your vocabulary. Get that out the way. Second of all, Russell Westbrook, all this supposed to be all NBA, all-time great player who now doesn't have to carry an entire offense because James Harden makes him sit in the corner for half of it. Hey, why don't you become a great defender with all that extra energy you're not using?
Because Russ ducks from defense.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
y'all
didn't
being
know that.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
That was sarcasm. People that didn't know.
The only one who doesn't believe it is Greg.
Don't do that.
All I'm saying is, you want to know how bad the Rockets are with Russell Westbrook on the floor?
Go ahead.
Brian with the numbers.
He just had a great game, not this last one versus Detroit, but I think it was the one before that where he went 23-7-6. So he tallied some good numbers, America.
Whoa.
He
First of
tallied
all,
some good
whenever
numbers.
we're talking about Russ, we're never just going to say those numbers. He averaged a triple-double. It was a season where he went like 29, 10, 11, or something like that.
I defended that season because I said he balled out. That was the best Russell Westbrook ever played in his career.
Those numbers, they don't matter when it comes to Russ. Every game on the stat sheet, if you look at those 3 pocket numbers, points, rebounds, and assists, it's going to look like Russell Westbrook was probably the best player on that floor. If you watch the games, Greg, oh, good Lord. If you watch the games, you're
tuning in, okay?
It's disgusting.
And I want to say I don't care.
Like, the Houston Rockets offensive rating goes from, like, the greatest of all time with Russ off the floor to, like, very average with him on the floor. Like, how is that possible when you put 2 all Hall of Fame guards together?
Because Russ is toxic.
Whoa.
I'm not going to go that far.
That's not true.
I'm not going to go that far.
Okay.
That is not true.
I'm not going to go as far as say he's toxic.
You can't even tell me why he's toxic.
His game does not help, though. Like, I'm not going to call him toxic. His game, especially, it does not help James Harden in any way. I could honestly say right now, after watching Chris Paul play for OKC this year, Houston would be better with Chris Paul than they would be with Russell Westbrook right now.
Bro, Russell Westbrook, I don't know what it is.
I know what it is. He can't shoot. That's what it is.
It's for every Hall of Famer he gets to play with, it's just his jumper runs them away.
I'm not even going to go that far because he actually shot better with Kevin Durant, which is weird. His jump shot has become broken. I don't know why. I don't understand it. Your jump shot is supposed to get better as you get older. That is a fact of life. But for Russell Westbrook, it has been the opposite. I don't understand it.
And you know what? I wouldn't even be so mad about the jumpers not going in if he took smarter jumpers. His decision making at times.
I'm still gonna care because at some point you gotta hit, man.
You do gotta hit, but I'm saying is like the reason why it looks as bad as it is because of the shot attempts that he does make. If I see one more pull up trade, Lord help me. He's the last person that should be shooting that.
We're off topic.
One of the things we are off topic. I'll let it go.
No, you got it.
No. One of the things that I think is unfair to Houston is the fact that they're struggling to find a way to mesh as a duo. Now, granted, PG, Kawhi, they dropped 88 the other night. Me and Brian watched it. That jump was crazy. Like it was.
Nah, they were going bananas since
they were literally
since tip off. They were going bananas.
They were literally going back and forth with the ball.
It was really impressive.
Look, that's what Russ wanted to do in OKC with Kevin Durant. They wanted to go your turn, my turn.
The problem is you ain't that good, Russ.
You're just not like that, Russ. You're just not like that.
I think we're being unfair because we're seeing both Los Angeles teams, mind you, be so good out the gate with one another, being able to complement each other so well. And then you have these 2 guys who are essentially both scorers, and granted, they do it different ways, but both being scorers. Mm-hmm. And it's just not meshing well. It's heightening. Like, okay, now they just don't. They just suck, apparently. Or Russ is just that much worse than everybody else, or whatever case may be. And I don't think that's the case. I just think when you're looking at one level being this high, then the other one being like, all right, this taking a little more time, then granted, that's just the way this situation is being handled.
I think more so, you were right about the 2 LA teams getting off to a fast start, but I think the bigger issue is that we can directly compare James Harden and another running mate the year before and the year before that as well, et cetera, et cetera. So what hurts this Russ Harden thing is the fact that Harden CP3 looked like they will be more compatible when they play together. Right now, it looks like the Rockets didn't get better with the trade.
So, and I said this on a number of occasions when we had this discussion, Greg, when they made the move and they got Chris Paul about it. I said, Russell Westbrook, granted, at this point in time, you can say he's the more dynamic athlete, he's more explosive, and all that is well and good. He's not a better basketball player. It's just that simple. He's a better athlete, and he has more years on his career than Chris Paul has at this point. So, yes, long term, it made sense to make the move. But if you're talking about, I say even for the next 2 years, Chris Paul is a better basketball player. He's a better shooter. He's a better ball handler. He's a better passer. He's a better defender. In terms of anything skill-related on a basketball court, I believe Chris Paul does it better than Russell Westbrook. And that's where the issue is coming in. Because Russell Westbrook...
So Chris Paul is a better basketball player than Russ Westbrook right now.
Skill-wise, yes. I think Russ's athleticism gives him a slight edge. It just makes him a little bit more dynamic. But even that, you could honestly say you're seeing the decline of Russell Westbrook. I think we've seen the peak of Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
We're never going to see that MVP season he had.
We've seen his best years.
That was peak. Since then, it's been downhill. Every year, he's gotten worse and a little bit worse.
And what happened? That MVP season, he was dolo. Every year, he actually has a running mate.
I'm not even going to go that far because even when
I'm going that far. I'm making that run.
But I think even with Kevin Durant, he had like really great years and he was efficient for him. But it's like I said, he's 31 now, multiple knee surgeries.
Yep.
We've seen peak Westbrook.
Yeah.
He's not going to get faster. He's not going to start jumping higher. And his jump shot is broken now. That's not a good combination for a 31-year-old point guard in this NBA.
When you slow down, you're supposed to get more skilled and technical.
Like, I know everybody told me at the beginning of this year, it was like, well, he's never had the shooter or the spacing that Houston's going to give him, so he's going to make better decisions. Well, guess what? He went from averaging 4.5 turnovers to 4.3. He's the same player.
And generally, when he was on an OKC, his turnover rate was super high. His usage rate was super high as well. But he was predominantly the only ball handler on that floor. Now that James Harden dominates the ball so much, and you still averaging around the same amount of turnovers as if you're the only ball handler on the floor, that's just telling me when you do touch the ball, when James lets you out the corner, you're not doing anything smart with it.
But I mean, like I said, just going back to what I said, he's not a great ball player. He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's a Hall of Famer. Everybody that's going to comment and say Brian is bashing Russell Westbrook. No, Russell Westbrook is one of the greatest players of all time.
He's bashing the Brody.
He's in the top 1% of ball players to ever play the game.
It's fair criticism when you're criticizing a Hall of Famer. He's still better than John Wall.
This is not the good.
But we've done that already. Go check out that video.
John Wall would have won a chip with KD.
That ain't guaranteed.
That is not guaranteed.
If John Wall stayed healthy, he was a better defender, better PG.
So they're getting the heat out the way.
I don't know if they'd have won that one.
He was going to have to face him the next 3-4 years.
I think he would have won after that. Like, Russell Westbrook and KD never won after. I think John Wall and KD would have won one after.
As long as they didn't play Bron in the finals?
I think they could have beat Bron in the finals.
No. But we're off topic.
We got past Golden State.
Now, that would have been the tough one.
Curry would have... Oh, my gosh.
John Wall could have gave Curry problems.
Offense, everybody can give Curry
I'm talking about defensively. John Wall was a great defender in his prime.
Hey, look, man, a lot of people are great defenders, and Curry just made all.
Facts, but my point is John Wall could have. Unlike Westbrook, who
because Russ ducks from it, like he actually hides from it. But I understand what you mean.
Like John Wall would have went.
I would argue this. He would have gave a little bit better effort than Russ, but same results, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. So, like we said, we're gonna keep an eye out. It's December 15th, so. 90% of the league up for grabs, up to be traded. It's going to be a lot of moving and shaking, in my opinion, coming up to the trade deadline, which is in February. I think it's the 15th, 16th, something like that. So right around there, I think we're going to see a lot of moves be made. Keep an eye out for that. Next topic, Zion Williamson. He's supposed to be on the court now.
Okay.
That's what they said when he initially got hurt. He ain't back. I don't expect him to be back anytime soon. But what do you think of his injury? What do you think of Zion?
The way I look at it, there's been a trend. High lottery draft picks. Something minor happens or anything happens, shut him down. You got that from whether you're coming off injuries in college or not, like Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. You had people like Blake Griffin skipped a year. It's a trend that if you're really high lottery and you're like the franchise face instantly, they're okay with sitting you that first year. And to this point, it's already December.
So you already going as far as he's not coming back for the rest of the season.
I say you just sit him for the year.
Wow.
Try to get his body right because it's clear that it seemed like he had been overweight to some degree, as if like he didn't have like the same college body. So try to get him right, healthy. Try to get him into an NBA body, whether you slim him down a little bit or define him, or at least have him like to a place where he could physically carry the load of NBA minutes.
Right.
But you're never really gonna get that until you play NBA minutes. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then just start fresh next year. Because what are the Pelicans going to gain from him coming back? Like a little bit of excitement and buzz. You get to see him on the court. Possible injury again. Nah, it's December. Just shut him down. And I've never been the fan of just shut him down. But by this point, like I understand how the trend goes. So I'm not expecting to see him back on the court. I'll be super excited to, of course, but I don't expect it.
Like I said, I kind of agree. I think New Orleans is kind of looking at it. There's not much point in bringing him back. They're out of playoff contention, granted. nobody's technically out right now.
Yeah, but
they
they're so far behind in the West.
They're not catching up for real. So, like I said from jump, with Zion out, this is a chance for them to evaluate their young players. Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, who's balling.
Yeah.
Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Jackson Hayes. They're evaluating these guys. Just like going back to the trade discussion, I think they're going to look to move their veterans. And next year, they're going to load up on some draft picks, maybe try to get another young asset. And then next year, they're going to go all out. Like, they're going to go with Brandon Ingram, Zion as their top duo. They're going to let it ride, and hopefully they can put some players around them to make some moves. So, I think this year's a wash for Zion, in all honesty.
Dang, that's not what I want to hear.
I mean, it's what nobody wants to hear, but
yeah, as fans of basketball, we want to see him play, but like realistically, I doubt we see him play.
Like, I honestly hope he's working on his game, though. Like,
Yeah,
I hope
true.
I know he's injured right now. They said he still hasn't really started on-court workouts and stuff of that nature. But I really hope he does take, if not, whenever he starts actually getting back on the court, I hope he really starts working on his game, not so much just getting in shape. The shape is going to come. Like I said, if you're in the gym every day.
Yeah, running up and down.
Like, that's going to happen. As long as you take care of your body, eat right, you'll be fine in that aspect. He has to work on his jump shot. He has to work on his right hand. And if I was him, I'd be watching a lot of film on the NBA. He has to learn how to guard multiple positions. So if he does that, I think they can hit next year running.
Yeah, like I said, it's what I don't want to hear, but it's what I understand the situation itself.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I was thinking about was this. Man, my stomach's growling. One of these things I'm thinking about is other players who have been drastically hurt, and we never really saw their full potential materialize due to those injuries. So we got guys like Penny, we got guys like D Rose. I mean, we saw their full potential, but it was short-lived.
I don't think we did, especially not Derrick Rose's.
And that's the debate. That's the debate there. Like,
I don't think he peaked at 21, 22.
Guys like Brandon Roy, guys like that Grant Hill,
yeah.
where you know they're destined for greatness. You know
that they
were
already great. That we can already say,
yeah, you were already looking at them like they can be a Hall of Famer. Like you
they
already
can be the best guy in the
recognize
league.
that. And then all of a sudden they're hurt and they never really recover from it.
Injuries suck, man.
And so I don't want this to happen to him. So I do understand the precautions that they're taking. At the same time, it's like, yo, for once, can the basketball guys just leave one guy for us? Like, just leave one guy that's so transcendent, because we really have never seen a 6'6", 285.
We've never seen anybody 6'6", 285 that can
go 45 inches in the air and stay there. Like that. I think that's kind of the thing about Zion that's so amazing and unique. And then you talk about the idea of him being able to add to his game. Now, yeah, we're looking at a guy that could be one of the greatest of all time. Potentially. Yeah. Potentially. If everything everything pans out the way we would want it to, yeah. So I think that's the unfortunate thing about it. And yeah, I want him to be healthy. I want him to take his time, but I also want to see him definitely work to get back on the court. Like, the idea of him just being like, all right, we're just gonna shelve him just to shelve him because we're scared is one thing. I kind of would want them to.
I mean, I don't even know if it's so much a scare thing. Is like I said, it's almost. There's no reward in putting them in now. Like, at the beginning of the season, it made sense. Like I said, you were trying to hype the fans up. You wanted him to get his feet wet. You wanted
and
to
that's
sell
still
tickets.
not possible.
No,
that's still not
now.
possible.
It's not at this point. At this point, it's possible. It's just
it's not worth
it.
Like,
it's not worth it.
Even if the season,
the risk isn't worth the reward.
Exactly.
Reward at that
the
point.
season's already set, right? So, and a lot of people were saying like they potentially could be a playoff team, but what's the issue in saying, oh, we're going to put them on the court against a Charlotte or Atlanta?
The reason is because
a Golden State.
Now, what your record is, you're playing with injury risk too. And that's what you never want to do. Like, if somebody gets injured, you want them to get hurt actively while playing a game where it feels like it matters. The Pelicans aren't making the playoffs. So him getting hurt in any kind of scenario is going to look like, yo, why were y'all playing him? Y'all weren't going to go anywhere anyway. It's kind of like when D Rose popped his knee and it was in a blowout in like the last couple minutes of the fourth, and Thibodeau was just Thibodeauing and had him in the game. And his knee had popped, and the first thing everybody said is, because they were up by like 18, it's like, why is Derrick Rose playing in the last 3 minutes of this game?
Yeah, I remember.
And what was it, the playoffs?
It was a playoff. First round.
Yeah, like, what? Sit him. So in scenarios like that, sit him. But like, if D Rose knee popped while they were up 2 points in the last 3 minutes, nobody's going to look at the coach and nothing like that. They're trying to win that game.
Right.
None of these games, in terms, they matter, of course. They're not going to matter in the success of their season because there is not going to be a successful season. They're not making the playoffs. So they're just doing all evaluation now, which you can do in-house for Zion while keeping him healthy and preventing as much as you can the possible risk of injury.
So what's the restriction then? So he's not running any 5v5, not even in practice.
They said he still hasn't really stepped. He
Yeah.
hasn't even begun on court work yet.
Oh, wow.
So
I think it's just all body right now.
I mean, I think the injury is probably worse than what they expected. They're taking it really slow. They're not letting him get up and down the floor. They're saying, "Hey, man, take all the time you need because there is no rush here." Like they understand what they have, and it's actually a smart thing marketing wise as well, PR guy, because if you do bring him back this year, and for whatever reason, injury, he doesn't look good. It kills your value on him. So next season, y'all walk in and everybody kind of goes, "Oh, well, Zion's really not that good. We ain't got to worry about putting him on national TV. We ain't got to worry about selling
There's
tickets."
power in mystery.
Like,
Just by him not play,
if
there's
you
a
just
lot
walk
that
out
you
of the
can.
season going, "Hey, guess what? Next year, Zion will be here, and he'll be 100% healthy. He's going to be back to what he was, and he's had a year of being in the NBA gym. Oh, and we got Brandon Ingram, who's a 25-point scorer. We're fine. Season tickets are going to sell. You can sell that image. You can't sell Zion.
Especially if you're able to package with whatever is coming out of the draft next year. Like,
Exactly.
if they get a high lottery pick,
If they walk
and
out
you
the
could
court,
package that with Melo, you could put the Ball brothers together. You could Anthony Edwards have a super dynamic two guard.
You're really high on this Ball brothers reunion.
No, I'm just saying. I don't know.
messing with you.
Yeah, I figured Cleveland would probably do something stupid like draft 3-point guards in a row.
No, there's actually been rumors, and this is a side note, but there's been rumors that Cleveland has done the most scouting on
LaMelo.
Like, so
Yeah,
It's Cleveland.
like you go from Colin Sexton to Darius Garland and LaMelo Ball. Like, what are you trying to do?
I mean, if you walk out there with
This is why they don't deserve high draft. Flip the lotto. I hate Cleveland. Not the city. I've never been. Just the organization.
I've been.
wow,
Hey, shout out Cleveland.
No, you can't do
you
that.
can't do that. We're never gonna be able to do a show in
Oh
Cleveland.
my God. Y'all talk about me getting us in trouble with the NCAA. You got a whole city mad at us.
I would rather.
Have Cleveland mad at you? Yeah, you got to stop this with Cleveland, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Prayers up for Zion. Hope he keep getting better, keep getting healthier. And if he is out for the rest of the season, so be it. I understand it. Like I said, I understand what's at stake. It's a bummer because I was prepared. I was ready to see him on the court. I was like,
I mean, we all were.
So.
Even me. And like I said, I was not high on Zion, especially when he got to Duke. I thought he was very overrated. Then I saw him at Duke, and I was like, oh, no.
He's everything everybody
He's
said
a
he
freak of
was.
nature.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
different. That's a different breed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we're all rooting for him. I think we're all hoping to see that spectacular show that he was going to put on. So, yes, prayers up, man. Hope to see you on the court.
all right. So we'll just get this out the way real quick. Luka is also down with
The ankle, yeah. The ankle injury. He apparently it's going to be a couple weeks. It was a mild ankle
They said
sprain.
a couple weeks.
I don't think that's good for Dallas in the long run. I think this could be a long 2 weeks.
I mean, yeah, he was backpacking, but this could be
He was-
2 weeks.
He was
beyond
backpacking.
backpacking.
He was definitely backpacking. I agree.
He is beyond backpacking. Do you understand? They had the highest rated offense in the NBA.
I'm saying he was backpacking. I mean, I love how y'all responded as if it was like, no.
No.
I understand.
I need you
I
to
was-
understand the
I
level.
agree.
He was
I agree.
backpacking.
We're all saying he's back. I'm saying I think he's gone a level
shouldering.
beyond. Like this is LeBron James backpacking Cleveland early in his career. Like where Luka's averaging 29. The next highest score is averaging 16, and then it's 13, and then it's 9.
And granted, Chris stats the last 4 games, I think has been averaging like 13 on like
Okay,
42%.
the one thing I
Chris
will
Stats
say,
shooting 39%.
the one
30.
thing, but the one thing I am gonna say is it does seem like there's after an injury, especially a big injury, you don't come back the same in that first year back.
Of course,
it's
we
generally that
recognize that.
second year.
Oh, we
we
all said
recognize
that.
Chris,
Nobody's
Chris
blaming
Stats is
Chris
safe.
Stats.
Yeah.
That's not the
Nobody's
issue.
blaming
But
Chris
the
We're
thing
just
about Chris
stating
Stapps
the
with Luka,
the context of what's happening right
I
now.
was trying to look and search for the positive because of something about Luka being out. Because like I said, that team might be abysmal
And, and that's what I'm saying. This might be a long 2 weeks. Right now, they're
the
sitting
only
at
beneficial part is if maybe this helps Kristaps tie his shoelaces up and backpack again.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Right now, they're sitting at third at 17-8. We know exactly how the West can get.
Oh yeah, they could free fall to the 7th seed so fast.
Right, and you're looking at around that same spaces.
No lie, they could lose all these games in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know what the schedule looks like, so
it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
No, it does.
With Luka off the table, that Mavs team is not.
Like I said, all you need is somebody to get hot one night.
I didn't bank on them losing every single last one. I just said I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, they got Milwaukee next.
That's a L.
And then they got Boston.
Okay.
And Philly.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
And Toronto.
You see what I mean?
Oh my God. That's
you see what I mean?
L's.
Hey, nah, that's a lot. Hey, Luka rolled his ankle at the right time. He's like, yo, I'm tired.
Hey.
He looked at the schedule. He's like, I'm not doing this right now.
They got Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, Toronto. Then they got the Spurs.
So is that like
they got like Golden State.
The top 4 of the East?
Pretty much. Top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Philly's 5, right?
Then they got San Antonio, Golden State. Those are winnable. Then you got the Lakers.
Yeah, hey, y'all better beat Golden State.
You got the Lakers. Then you got OKC. And then Brooklyn.
He should be back by then.
Hopefully
they might be 2 and whatever.
Hopefully he's back by then.
So they can. All right, so they got to steal one of these games.
Yeah.
If they can steal one, beat Golden State, beat San Antonio, you walk out of these 2 weeks 3 and 4. You got to feel.
You
happy.
did all right. You did your job.
You did your job.
I agree.
You got to steal one of those East Coast games.
But you can easily go out there 1-6, 0-7 that joint.
I agree.
I didn't know it was that bad coming up.
And all those are nationally televised games.
Yeah, I didn't know that was coming up. Sheesh.
Luka's tired. He just needed a break.
Hey, I feel him.
I ain't mad at him, man.
But yeah, Luka, man, he's been putting on a show. I hope he gets well soon. It was not fun watching him go down at all. But I am interested to see how Kristaps, like, if he's capable of stepping his game, even if it is for only a week or two.
And like I said, like, there's no pressure on Kristaps because we all understand he's coming off a major injury.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping, like, maybe with him just being the only option on the floor, it could build into his confidence a little bit more.
Nope, more shots with Tim Hardaway Jr.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he gonna shoot it.
He is every time he touches it. Shout out to Tim Hardaway Jr.
He's a shooter.
I don't know if that's a shout-out moment, but all right.
Golly, we got to have somebody on our side.
Oh, we got Luka on our side.
Yeah, we do got Luka on our side. High praise for Luka around here.
God, we definitely got Kawhi on our side.
Bruh, oh my God. We got Kobe White. Yeah, hey, we got some guys.
So
Markel.
Yeah, shout out Markel Fultz.
All right, so we just gonna go down to every
D'Angelo Russell, that's my guy.
Everybody we got a bias towards. That's what we doing now.
We gotta we gotta make some friends because we out here. You slander the whole city.
Yeah, you did.
Who's in there right now?
Wow. My point exactly.
That's what we're talking about right there. That was the point we were making.
What's another bad team in the city that we need us to like?
Colin Sexton, man.
Shout out Colin Sexton.
Young bull. Darius Garland. LaMelo Ball when he gets there.
Yeah, I'm really trying to imagine LeVar Ball in Cleveland.
Oh man, he's gonna be so sad. So sad.
LaMelo's gonna be like, yo, I didn't know I went back to Lithuania.
Man, what's the next topic? You know, we can't spend 10 minutes just
I need a 30-second
comparing Cleveland to Lithuania.
I need a 30 seconds.
I understand I called them basketball hell, but like that's
I can't breathe, yo.
there are children there.
Oh snap.
Lithuania. Oh, I can't breathe.
I don't even know what I had on the topic, man. What did I have on the docket? I don't even know. Oh, snap.
Oh, do you want to talk about somebody who wishes they could be Kobe Bryant or actually Kobe Bryant and James Harden?
Oh, yeah. So,
whoa, who wishes they could be Kobe? Dion. Oh my God, let's start with that.
Dion Waiters, man. So I was talking to my uncle, and shout out my uncle CJ Scott, coach for Life Christian Academy football team.
Shout out LCA.
Killing the game. But he asked me a question about the Miami Heat, and he said to me, how toxic do you have to be to catch a seizure on a plane by eating gummies? And I said, I don't know what was in those gummies. It had to be something more, I guess. And he said, well, how toxic do you have to be to see this roster and not want to stay on it? And I said, I don't know. Dion Waiters right now has found himself in a position where I think it's unrecoverable. I really don't think it's going to be easy getting him on another team, even though I believe that's what all of this was about.
I don't think that's what all this is about. I don't think he wants to leave Miami. Maybe not the team or organization, but the city especially. I think he loves it in Miami. The issue was when Kendrick Nunn started going bananas at the beginning of the season, and with Tyler Herro looking as good as he is, your role is fulfilled by two younger, cheaper players who have a future where they look like at least one of them could go the distance in Miami for like a good decade. Dion, all you're bringing us is headaches. So you can't really be serviceable. You know what I mean? Right. Like, if somebody comes in at your job, they're younger than you, they seem to be at least be able to produce on the same level as you, they're cheaper than you, and they don't give us headaches, what's the point of me keeping you?
Okay.
So right now, Dion he's just an extra body around there.
And being the case, Miami Heat have officially announced that they're looking to move Dion Waiters. Once again, I don't know.
He can't go anywhere.
I don't know where he lands.
Yeah,
and I don't even know if waiving is an option for Pat Riley. Like, he doesn't seem like a guy that wants to pay somebody
to leave.
But
with Dion Waiters being this much of a headache,
Pat Riley is very petty, so I could totally see him doing it when he's exhausted all other options. But he's gonna try to move him. I just don't know who takes him.
Because that's the issue. I don't think any other team. It'd be one thing if it's like the Heat just don't want him. But with his actions as of recent over the last couple of months, I don't see what team gambles on him.
Right. And I think he's been suspended again.
60 games.
Yeah.
Well, once again, that's a team
That's
a team violation. It's not an NBA thing. So
right.
I mean, I can see a team,
which is also an issue.
So
also raise red flags to other organizations.
Facts. So with Dion, we all can admit Dion is, granted, while he's never been what he thought he was, he is a decent NBA ball player when his head is on straight.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's a scorer in this league.
Real quick, before this, did Dion really have any other moments? I can't remember any
like
other,
headache moments.
Super headache moments.
He's said a lot of things like, for example, when he was with Cleveland, he had an issue because he thought
suspendable, right?
Nothing suspendable. No, it was just more so like just shut up moments. Yeah,
like he came in like this has been a lot of times been reported like being overweight. Like it's always been more a question of like how committed is he to the game. This is the first time we've seen him like.
This is the first tantrum, it seems like.
Yeah.
But earlier, it was like, like, the overweight thing was a problem. He thought that the team should be ran through him instead of Kyrie. It was issues like that.
Funny. It is. It's hilarious.
Like, he thought the world revolved around him.
At the time, he was 19, 20, so it's almost like that thing.
Yeah, he went like number 2 the year before.
Number 4, I think.
4?
2 or 4. He was top 5 pick. Shouldn't have been, but whatever. But, like I said, Dion's always had a very high opinion of himself. He's been humbled at times, especially when he got to Miami, he got humbled. And then I think this year, it hurt him this year because he had a good year last year with Miami. Then he came back this year. From what I'm told, or from what I've seen, it wasn't so much he came in like out of shape or anything. He came in ready to play, but Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Herro are here now. And all of a sudden you look up and your minutes are gone. And now you're like, dude, I did everything y'all told me to do, and I'm being rewarded with this? Get me out of here. Or cut me something. I don't want to be here no more. He feels hurt by the organization. Now, on the same token, he has to understand this is a business.
Yeah, you can't take 80 gummies.
Step your game up or deal with it. On the same token, I can see him going somewhere and contributing and helping a squad. He just has to go somewhere where, 1, the organization is strong. They're not playing games with him. And 2, they do need him. He wants to feel needed. He's a very needy type of person. We saw that at Syracuse. We've seen it now in the league. He's not so much a me first, but just he believes in himself. He believes he needs shots. He believes he needs time to excel. So he needs to go somewhere where they do need him. Where, granted, whether it's as a sixth man or even as a starter, where he gets to be like the microwave scorer for the team.
Right.
I can see him going somewhere like Philly because they need some type of scoring off their bench. Like I said, a team like Indiana probably could use another scorer off their bench. But it has to be somewhere where the organization...
The structure is sound.
Exactly.
I understand that. And I don't know, like, the thing that bothered me the most about the situation, like I said before, is his actions were so far over the top. It was like, whoa. I know what you're trying to do. It's like, but this ain't it. Like, you pushed it too far to the point where now other teams are looking at you like this is beyond just you wanting to get out of the city and play for a different team.
Because mind you, like if you really wanted to leave that bad, just take the fine and come out and publicly ask for a trade. Just take the fine. Like I think it's like a $14,000 fine or something like that.
Something like that.
It's even if it's $40,000, like if you really wanted to get out of Miami that bad,
right?
Take the fine, come out and publicly ask for the trade. Now you're going to be in a news cycle for like the next 48 hours. And then by this time, they might have been able to find a deal where they trade you for whether it's a pick or cap space or whatever it is. Yeah. They could have got you out of there.
Well, that goes back to dealing with Pat Riley. Pat Riley is known for being petty. He's also known for strong-arming people. So I'm pretty sure there had been a conversation had between Pat, Dion, his agent, whatever, however you want to say it, where it was like, hey, keep your mouth shut. Stay out of trouble. We're going to try to move you as best we can. Dion
getting impatient.
Either getting impatient or felt like they haven't lived up to their end of the bargain, whatever, however you want to phrase it. He's acted out. And Pat Riley probably now is looking going, I can honestly see Pat Riley in his office right now going, you know what? Man, I'm going to make him sit here for the whole year. Send him home. Like, make him stay at home and just sit on his couch for the whole year. I won't even trade him. I can see Pat Riley doing that. I also can see Pat Riley saying, I'm going to trade him to the Knicks.
He would love the Knicks.
You would love it until you start losing.
Yeah, they're like, what, 4 and like 18
I think
or something?
Dion Waiters would be just fine, like, putting up as many shots.
That's the thing. I don't even think he's going to be able to put up that many shots in the Knicks. Like, you're still going to be dealing with R.J. Barrett. Like, you're still going to be the low man on the totem pole in that scenario. Like, I can see him Pat Riley trying to send him somewhere that's purgatory.
And send him to the Wizards. I mean, not the Wizards. Yeah, the Wizards.
Send him back to Cleveland.
Ooh.
I could totally see Pat Riley doing it.
For a super protected second-round pick. Just something you don't even need. It's something you don't even need.
For like Chetty Osman. Like,
they ain't letting Chetty go up.
I know. My point exactly.
Nah, just send him for whatever.
But just the fact that you're the number 4 pick and you just got traded for Chetty Osman.
I'll take Chetty over Dion now. Right now in a heartbeat.
Probably.
Call my phone right now.
But Dion ain't going to be happy about that.
Chetty playing all right.
Chetty been playing all right for like the last 2 years. Shout out Chetty.
He's a solid role player.
Yeah, another one on our side. We got to start writing down the list of names of people we actually like.
We need to write down the bad list so I can clean it up. Sheesh. But yeah, so, I don't know what happens to Dion Waiters. I don't know how they're going forward with that. But we'll see. We'll see in terms of if he gets moved, if Brian does. I mean, if Pat Riley does what Brian says, and that's just send him home and let him sit the whole year, which I've read a lot of articles about Pat Riley. It is possible that he would do that. Like, it's possible he would really let him sit at home.
I would actually love that.
That would be crazy. This I didn't bring up in the conversation when before the pod. But I am officially gonna put this out here.
Okay.
All right. Devonté Graham.
Oh, wow.
Has officially took Scary Terry's spot.
And I said this how many pods ago? I told y'all from the get-go Terry wasn't about it.
Honestly, we all said this like a month ago.
We said Terry wasn't about it. But did we say Devonté Graham was coming like this?
Oh, like I thought he was gonna be a good player. I didn't think it was gonna be like this.
We were in the chat and I was like, "Yo, Devontae's outplaying Terry Rozier." Like,
I think we were watching that game. Yeah,
we were all at separate houses watching the game. I'm like, "Yo, Devontae's like clearly outplaying Terry Rozier."
Bro, I'm telling you, Terry was never built like that. I was saying it when he was with the Celtics, even doing that playoff run. I was like, "Yeah, it's cute and all in that system, but like Terry can't go out here and be a starting point guard."
21 points a game.
Devontae? Oh, because he had that 40 ball.
He had that 40 ball, 8 assists. Oh, I'm reading per 36, my bad. Hold on, let me get it right.
I think he's averaging like 18, 19. I think he's averaging like 19 and 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what? Shout out to Charlotte because I destroyed y'all.
20 points, 7.5 assists, 41% from the field, but 42% from three.
Terry ain't looking too scary.
Terry is not. And I don't know. This ain't no shots at Terry.
It is.
Dang it. I just want to keep a guy on the list.
Let's add him to the list.
God dang it. I just want some. Can we? No shot from Greg. But I don't know where. I don't know how. A lot of people already put him in the conversation of most improved. I think it's hard to say he's the most improved in 2 years. Like, he's supposed to do this. That's normally left for people who, like, had, like, 3-4 years. And then
D'Angelo Russell went number 2, and then in his third year, he was up for most improved. So it all depends. I think Devonté might end up top 3 candidate for it, may win it. I think Siakam is probably going to be.
He already won it.
Oh, he did win it last year, didn't he?
He might win it again this
Good
year.
Lord.
I can't even front.
Lord.
I can't even front.
I don't even know if you can win back-to-back most
Ain't
improved.
no rule to say you can't.
But
That's crazy.
oh man, if I had a vote,
My vote might go to Pascal.
But what do y'all think of Devonté?
I think he's amazing. You know what? I'm gonna make a point.
Go ahead.
I think this is what happens when we always get lost sometimes. Like, not us specifically, but us in basketball culture. We get so fascinated with the one and dones, the young kids, the guys who upside potential, that 4-year guys sometimes slip under the radar. 3-4 year guys, like, we don't expect them to produce as well. That's why Kyle Kuzma seemed like such a great steal in the draft.
Right.
Devonté went in the second round, and he's looking like, wow. Like, a lot of those guys always have this ability in them, but the issue is we only put forth the effort and energy into developing the kids who we think are going to be the cornerstones of the franchise. Generally, the one and done players,
Right.
or like the overseas superstars that come over or something like that.
Right.
That Devonté Graham's fall through a lot of the cracks. I think he's been ready for the moment. It took him to get to basketball purgatory to figure it out where he can actually get the minutes to shine so he can make the mistakes that he needed to make as well. He's going to be around for a good little while. He has everything in his bag to stick around for 9 years.
Most definitely. I agree. In terms of us, and I can say for myself, sometimes I can be guilty of it too. Because in college, Devonté Graham was not just good. He was great. He was a great point guard.
It was the fact that he stuck around for so many years.
I think there's something, you're right, there's something to be said when you have those 3-4 year guys who spend those years in college and continuously improve there. And we also see moments where that also backfires. Guys like Melo Trimble.
Because he should have left, because he would have been a lottery pick. He stayed, his stock went down.
Right. So you look at those situations where, like, dang, like, that can happen. I think that's what happens a lot with these one and dones. Like,
They leave. You'd rather leave early than leave late.
Right. So the potential is still there, and we still see that, and there's no kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like buying a used car that's really, really good looking, but you ain't really check on it and see all the nicks and bruises. I'd rather have it, like, teams rather have it in them saying we can repair it.
Just knocking on some wood.
So,
because I just bought a car and we got to go check to see if it got some nicks and bruises.
So yeah, I would rather that, and this is how teams function. Not myself personally, but I would rather have it in my possession and then I can work on it myself.
Yeah, of course.
That's fixable. As opposed to
when you get a guy,
everybody see it, and then it's like, okay, no one wants to touch it anymore because everybody knows about what's the issues with this car. So Devonté Graham is not that at all. He went to Kansas, right? And he improved every year there. And then here, I ain't gonna lie, I lost sight of where he was at. I didn't know, like, where did he end?
The 4 years guys generally get lost in the league. Like, when you stay into your upperclassmen years, sometimes you tend to bounce. Sometimes you tend to just go straight in the G League and die there for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, the actual organization don't want to put in the energy and the effort to actually develop you. They're saving for the 18, 19-year-olds. But what people fail to see on the college level, for those guys who did stay into their upperclassmen years, a lot of the stigma, people think they didn't take enough of a leap.
Right.
Like if you stay there 4 years, by the time you're a senior, it should be no problem with terrorizing the college game. But the issue is you're getting ready for the NBA, but you're not getting NBA work in while you're in college.
Right.
So you're still going to look like a college player. You're just gonna look better and better every year. You're not gonna really be ready for the transition in the NBA unless you're like one of those superstar cornerstone guys who were ready when they were 18.
Right.
As a 4-year player, you're really still not completely NBA ready, but they expect them to be just because they stayed 4 years in college. College ball and NBA ball are two different games. So just because you stay 4 years in college doesn't make you the outright better pro prospect. So when they see any kind of nick or any kind of damage on a player, whether it be their jump shot not falling how they think they wanted it to,
right,
or maybe their floor vision isn't the greatest, they believe, well, he had 4 years in college to fix it. That should be it. No, develop your talent.
Right.
He got the development of a college system. It's a totally different game.
True. I agree. Brian?
Terry Rozier, don't ever talk about Kyrie Irving ever again.
Hey, yeah, we're defending Kyrie. We're back. Yeah. I just want to thank my mom. Whew, man, that feels good.
I mean, and once again, here's the thing. Terry Rozier technically isn't having a bad year if you really go look at his numbers. He's averaging about 17-4, 17-5, which isn't horrible. But you did all that complaining in Boston, thinking you were supposed to be the number one guard, or you thought the offense should run through you, however you want to phrase it.
How you go to Charlotte and end up the 2 guard?
You go to Charlotte with Devonté Graham, who last year was a bench warmer, was on a 2-way contract essentially.
Yep.
This year, I don't know what happened in training camp,
man,
but he took your time.
Man.
And, hey, man, you got the contract, but you ain't playing like it. And I laughed when you got the contract because I'm sorry.
I wouldn't have paid you.
I wouldn't have paid you. I didn't think Terry Rozier was that good to begin with, but he did.
So glad we're here with it.
And now you're here, and you realize you have to share the floor with Devonté Graham for the next 4 years, or you leave in Charlotte, one or the other, because they ain't getting rid of him. He's cheaper.
Ain't nothing scary about Terry. And he ain't leaving Charlotte. Don't nobody want him.
Somebody will take him.
Somebody probably would. I wouldn't.
But it won't be for a lot.
Throw Terry on the list.
That's all I can really say. I mean, y'all said everything that needs to be said about Devonté. Like I said, I'm proud of him. He's worked on his game. One thing you also got to remember, when he was at Kansas, he was still kind of the number 2 option there for a while. He was playing with Frank Mason. Mm-hmm. Like, he only had, 1 year where he got to, run the show at Kansas.
Shout out Frank, another 4-year guy.
Facts. Which is kind of funny because Frank is hanging on by
the skin of his teeth in the league
right now.
But he's gonna make it. Shout out to 804.
I think he's Milwaukee.
He's Milwaukee.
He's on a 2-way contract though.
Oh, he's on the 2-way.
Yeah. All right. They got him bouncing up and down.
As long as he's still touching the league. As long as he's still touching the league.
So yeah, just let it go, Terry. Play your position now. Be the sidekick.
The sidekick. Can you imagine that? You force your way out of Boston, like you get out of there to go be Devonté Graham's sidekick.
Hey.
Oh man.
Embrace your role. Do you?
But Charlotte doesn't look like the worst team in the league.
What are they, like 10 and 15?
Yeah, like I said, I give them their props because I bashed them a lot. I said they were going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. I said the roster was completely garbage. But if you would have told me,
Devonté
and I don't
Graham.
care what nobody in this room says, nobody in this room thought Devonté Graham was going to average 20 this year.
Yes, sir.
But
yes,
what
sir.
did I say about the Washington Wizards?
They're not worse. They're like
What's
the
their
same.
record?
They're the same.
7-17, Brian.
They're the same, though.
Are we going to really sit here and
Charlotte's like
argue about
one
bad
game
teams?
better.
Are we really going to sit here and argue about bad teams?
Like Charlotte's one game better, Greg.
This is the
And the
bad
season
team
far
pod.
from over.
Y'all are arguing who's better, the Wizards or the Hornets.
right now?
Hey, are we really one game? So by the end of tonight, they could be the exact same.
Who's better? Who's worse?
By the end
right
of tonight, they could have the exact same record.
Who's better? Who's worse right now?
Greg, are you really trying to do this right now?
Yes, we are.
Oh my God, he really needs to hear. He really needs to win. He needs to win this. You got it, man. You got it.
All right, dang
You
it.
got it. You got the win.
I'll
man.
ask for it.
I don't
You got
ever
the
want to
win,
see
man.
that happen again.
You got the win,
I don't
man.
ever want to see a stalemate or a standoff between two guys arguing about bad teams.
That was pitiful.
Well, both teams have to be above 500. We're going to argue about them. Good Lord.
That's ridiculous.
Oh man, that was from the first pod. I had to get that off my chest. But yeah, so shout out Devonté Graham. Shout out Charlotte. Keep hooping, bro, and keep growing, keep getting better. Get ready to get that check, because as long as you keep playing at this level, you're gonna find yourself in a situation where you can win, a situation where you can be better, and who doesn't want a bag?
Facts.
So, yeah. Another thing. Oh yeah, we're going high school.
We going
All
to
right.
high school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know.
Bronny James.
Oh,
We haven't mentioned his name yet. Essentially, by himself. We talked about Sierra Canyon a little bit, but you had mentioned this earlier, that the hype around him is already gearing up, and he's only a freshman. Do we think he will eclipse the hype of
Oh God, no.
Melo,
Oh, fool.
I thought you were about to say
Zion?
LeBron.
Yeah, I thought you was gonna say yeah. I thought you were gonna
nothing.
start off with his dad.
I mean, we can't speak to that yet. We can't speak to that. But Melo, Zion, will he eclipse that type of hype?
I say, because he's a freshman right now, so by his senior year, he'll probably catch Melo. Because Melo was super duper hype. I think, you know what it is? It was the pairing, the fact that Melo and Zion were in high school upperclassmen around the same time. So, like, remember, like, one of the craziest streams I've ever watched when their AAU teams played each other. The gym looked like a fire hazard. Like,
No, it was.
like they were about to shut down the
It
game.
was.
It's crazy.
I
But
didn't even think they played the game on the other court.
it was just that one game.
That was I think it was.
I hope nobody else was playing because won't nobody watching it.
The
only person who stayed over there was, like, moms.
I don't think anybody
Mom
was
probably
over there.
said, "I'm gonna go get something to drink."
See that boy Bronny James play? I mean, Melo play? No,
Came
but
back it in.
with Bronny, why I'm saying that he can catch Melo and Zion in terms of hype, this man is probably like 35 to 40% of the reason why they have so many games on ESPN. It seems like they have more games on ESPN than some of these NBA teams.
No, that's true. That's true. We've already talked.
And
about
Bronny James, like I'm telling you, he's a good amount of that reason. Mind you, like they had scheduled him against his dad's team. They threw that on ESPN, and then it looked like Sierra Canyon. The game plan was like, "Hey, let Bronny go," because it hasn't been like that in other games.
I don't know if it was like that.
I mean,
The game
they have
the
some
game was
injuries, too.
tight.
The game was tight, but like I said, I think it was let Bronny go, and I feel like that's why it kind of got as tight as it did.
I don't know, because he ended up dropping 8 in the second, I believe. Finished the game with
No, he had a great game.
I think he hit the game winner.
He did had a game winner steal off the inbound, finished off the glass. He was going with his left. He had the floater.
And the energy in the building, and I looked at the pictures, I looked at everything. I was like, when I watched it, I was watching the game because I was curious, but at the same time, I was watching the environment itself, and I'm like, whoa, this is on par with what we've seen from Zion.
But the thing
His
is,
senior
that's what I'm
year.
saying. He's a freshman. Bronny's
So,
gonna catch
and,
that
like,
hype.
And so I was like, if he can find a way to not necessarily be better than his dad by his senior year in high school, but just be
Bro, if
worthy
he could-
of getting drafted out of high school.
Oh, he's gonna get drafted. But
I mean, out of high school.
out of high school, he would
and
still
I mean
get drafted.
worthy.
Even,
I mean, we're looking at his game.
okay,
We're like,
and we're not putting it on his dad's legacy.
like-
We're putting it on him. I
like,
see what you
he's
mean.
an NBA ball player. He can eclipse his dad.
But that's what I'm saying. If at that point, your senior year, if you can get drafted coming out of high school, you're probably high lottery. Because you're not really getting drafted out of high school and then going in the second round somewhere. You're going to get lost. Like, it ain't no point. You might as well just do a year at Duke. But he can definitely catch all of that. Like, by his senior year.
And do you think this is a problem? First, I think that's the thing too, because we're looking at other guys on that team.
It's another Curry in
BJ,
North Carolina.
Zion Williams, Zaire Wade.
Yeah.
Like, there's other good basketball players on this team.
You're right.
He's being attributed a lot of this hype early when there are better players on this team.
Mind you, he's getting a lot of hype because of the connection to his dad. Like, that's what I said. Bronny is probably like 40% of the reason. They have an amazing team with
Yeah.
amazing talent.
And so, yeah, that's the thing.
And I can't wait till Zaire comes back. Both the Zaires, honestly. But when he comes back next semester, that wing duo going to be bananas.
Mm-hmm.
So I really can't wait to see Sierra Kane when they have all of their pieces.
Yeah.
On the court, Bronny nothing's going through him. He's not the best player on that team. He's a freshman. Like, we don't expect him to be. but he's getting a lot of that attention because he brung most of the hype just by his name.
No, I mean, it's his name and the fact that his dad openly supports the program. His dad was at the game.
But that's what I'm saying.
Vincent St. Mary.
That's his name, though.
Like,
he's literally LeBron James Jr.
Like my point is simply, if LeBron never came around, like he was just like absentee dad, for lack of a better term. Like he kind of just
they probably wouldn't have got this ESPN package.
That's my point.
Yeah,
like if
all right,
LeBron
I see what you mean.
was like, yo, I'm just gonna be hands off dad, let him grow up on his own. I'm gonna go do my thing with the Lakers. He does his thing with Sierra King. The hype, I think, would settle down. Dwayne Wade kind of be the same thing. Like, it's the fact that you have 2 Hall of Famers. Like, real talk, everybody I talk to,
they're actively there.
They're
Yeah.
actively there.
Oh, okay.
Like everybody I talk to who's like I said, we got them coming here like in a week now.
Yeah, about a
Like,
week. Next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Like everybody I talk to, like, yeah, we mentioned the game. We're also like, yo, Dwayne Wade might be there. Well, some people are like, oh, LeBron might be there, but then we realized the Lakers got a game that night. Like, but people are like, oh, we might see Dwayne Wade. We might see LeBron James. Like, it's that package on top of they're actually a really good basketball team to watch. Like, LeBron James or Bronny, I keep calling him Bronny. I'm about to call him Junior, but Bronny is, I think he's a really good ball player. I don't think he's as good as his dad. Don't think he will be. He's going to be a different type of player than his dad because I don't think he's going to be 6'8", 6'9". I think
he's gonna top out around 6'4".
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5" at best. I think he's going to end up being like a legit point guard.
Yeah, he's gonna be a big point guard.
All right, so
Well, average height by then.
really though. So by his senior year, will he eclipse LaMelo? It's hard to say because LaMelo's whole thing also came off of his name.
dad.
His dad, Lonzo, what they did at Chino. Like, it's so many things that's going to have to happen in order for him to catch that type of fame. Sierra King is going to have to stay good for 4 years.
But I think they will.
They should.
I think they will.
All
I think
odds would say they do.
And watching their games, Bronny, with every single game, Bronny gets better.
Oh, yeah, he's getting comfortable.
Like,
yeah, he's growing into himself.
And he's a freshman.
Facts.
Like, I don't think that is being emphasized enough. Facts. This is his first of his high school years. And we're already talking about how good this kid might be. Probably like top 10 in his age group right now.
Yeah.
And he has all the tools, resources, and surroundings to become somebody who, if they change the rule by then, go straight from high school to the pros.
Mm-hmm. Like, what I love about him from what I've seen, granted, none of us know these people personally, but from what I've seen, it seems like he does actually love the game, though. It's not like he's just playing because his dad plays or because he knows he's good. It seems like he genuinely enjoys playing basketball, which I hope that doesn't. I hope everything that's happening now, the hype, the media, it
doesn't
seems like he embraces
that.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't ruin that. It seems like he embraces it. He seems like he's very comfortable with it. And granted, when your dad's LeBron James,
yeah, you had to grow up in it.
You kind of just, I guess you do just kind of live with it. Like,
right, you just take on that.
Take on that persona. So, like I said, I hope it, because that was kind of one of my fears with LaMelo for a while. It seemed like LaMelo stopped enjoying himself for a bit.
No, and I think so too. I think we did moments where we looked at him in high school a little bit then, especially in Lithuania. Mm-hmm. Looked at him, he was like, he don't want to be here right now.
But yeah, I mean, you're 15, 16, you're in Lithuania.
Cleveland, no, stop.
But what I'm saying is, like, you throw 16-year-old me in Lithuania, like, I'm a hater here.
Facts.
Like, any 16-year-old American-year-old kid, like, 98% of them is gonna hate it if they had to spend a significant chunk of their adolescence overseas in a country where they don't understand what anybody's talking about.
Right, especially when they're missing monumental moments that a lot of 16-year-olds have to some, like prom or senior night, like moments like
I
those.
think it's more so he's looking more comfortable now. Not to cut you off, I just thought about it. He's probably looking more comfortable now because he realizes this is my last step, and then I'm going back to the States for good. Like, it's not like he's not switching more high schools and not starting off janky summer leagues. No more Lithuania, no more Australia. After this, I'm in the States and I'm good.
Right.
So he's probably like, yo, let me finish this up real quick and let me go do what I got to do. Like, I was watching like a Lonzo Ball interview and they were asking like, do you give any advice to your young brother LaMelo and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, just tell him to listen to dad. And mind you, regardless of their falling outs, and I ripped LeVar in our earlier podcast, like maybe like 6-7 pods ago. Mm-hmm. What I can say is he did raise 3 boys to get D1 offers, got one to the number 2 pick in the city they wanted him to play for. It's looking like he's got the other one nearly. I ain't gonna say it's a lock for him to be number one, but I think he's the front runner for the number one pick right now, if you ask me. So at some point in time, I have to take my hat off and like shout out LeVar Ball because like as a father, pushing your boys to be as great as they can be, regardless of whether we're gonna argue about his methods or not, the love and the attention is there.
Right.
So for the older brother who's had the back and forth with the dad to tell the youngest brother to listen to him, that shows great growth and maturity from Lonzo. Mm-hmm. And then it shows an actual effectiveness from LeVar's method from some degree if you have the person who went through it first vouching for it. So LaMelo is just looking way more comfortable now in terms of dealing with media, in terms of being on the court, blah, blah, because one, he's older, and two, this is his last stop.
I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. In terms of Bronny, we could, of course, it's not going to look the same as LeVar as compared to LeBron. I think they're not the same at all. But in terms of putting them in positions to succeed,
LeBron says I can beat Jordan one-on-one. He can actually make a legit argument about it.
True fact. So looking at LeBron in his situation in Sierra Canyon, I enjoy seeing the activeness out of him. I enjoy
step on the court.
Like,
step on the court. I like it.
I like seeing him and his wife get excited after that game-winning layup. I was like, because I cannot wait to have that moment.
One thing I don't like is when people act like athletes aren't real people too. Like LeBron's
he's proud of his son.
At a game, watching his son ball.
Right.
Be excited, LeBron. Like I said, I bash on LeBron. But I'm not gonna say I bash, but I criticize LeBron on a lot of things. This is one thing I will not criticize you for. Be a dad. Enjoy your son having a good time. Invest in him. Do whatever you need to do. As long as your son is enjoying himself, be there for him.
I'm telling you, people got to go back and listen to our earlier pods. I remember, was that the one we got lost where we had talked about how great LeBron was off the court?
I don't think so.
We might still we
might
have that
done
one
like 3 times over.
Yeah, but like I said, the only time I'm gonna ever criticize LeBron James is if it's any on the court antics. Off the court, I can't say a bad word about this man.
Nope. And looking at the way Dwayne Wade, LeBron, and the way they're handling this situation, it's not the same as what you would call LeVar. And I've been seeing that in comments and stuff on posts and stuff like that, saying, what is like LeBron doing? He's over here outshining his son.
No, he's not.
Like, no, they're active. Like, they're there.
It's just the fact that we know who they are.
For all of the comments we've heard about black fathers not being present and black fathers not being around and showing affinity to their sons, or whatever case may be, we can't say that right now. These aren't the 2 examples you're going to put out there.
Exactly. So to defend LeBron James on this topic, this is the difference. LeVar Ball outshined his sons because he went to the games and he made himself the show on and off the court. LeBron James did not go to that game to make himself the show. He sat down in his seat.
He's just LeBron James.
He's LeBron James. He can't walk into the room and not be. It's the same thing with Jordan. The same thing with Magic, Kobe. As soon as they walk in the door, all attention goes to them. For better or worse, you have to accept that reality. If you are best friends with Kobe Bryant or Magic or LeBron,
you got to get used to people walking straight past you to talk to them.
That's who they're talking to. Right. You have to accept that reality. LeBron James Jr. is going to have to deal with that reality for the rest of his life unless he does
something monumental and becomes.
All you got to do is, just be good. I mean,
unless he becomes the number 2 player of all time, which his dad has become, that's the only way anybody will ever say, oh, I want to spend more time with Bronny than LeBron James. Like, that's the only way that's ever going to happen. So,
like, he has the biggest uphill fight ever.
Yeah, him and Marcus Jordan.
Marcus didn't count. Michael ain't raised him.
Whoa!
That's the one guy who's not on our list.
Whoa!
I can't say that.
I apologize, MJ. On behalf of a Minor Hoops podcast and all of our family, I apologize. That is getting clipped. That is getting cut. That will never see the light of day, Greg.
Pause. Wait, I can't say that? Look how bad his son is. You weren't in the gym with him.
I don't know.
He wasn't in the gym with his son. And if he was, you're a horrible trainer, Jordan.
Oh, no.
Come on.
I can't. So we can disrespect the entire city.
Time out, no.
I can't.
You just put us against the most powerful man in basketball, essentially.
So we're going to cut it?
It's good content. I don't know.
Look, all right. Maybe it's because of the way I had said it. I did say it extremely harsh. I said the man didn't raise his son. I did.
Think?
I can apologize for that. When I said it, I was thinking about the basketball aspect because I can definitively say this as respectfully as I possibly can. Michael Jordan, your son was horrible at the game of basketball.
He wasn't horrible. He was a D1 ball player.
You played at what, UCF?
Yes, he was a D1 ball player. He wasn't all. He's horrible in comparison to the GOAT.
But that's
Or
every time
some
we say
people's
anything bad about something, it's always in comparison to something. Like,
So say that in comparison to you.
I thought I
Jordan.
didn't have to say that. Like,
No, the way you said it was
compared to other D1 athletes, your son was less than average. And since you're top 3 all time, kind of expected more. So I felt like you possibly could have put more effort into making sure that your son wasn't a 4. Am I okay with that?
We're gonna run this back, and we're gonna let you listen to it.
Exactly.
I can't
And
say
then
that.
And you
decide
tell
if
me
you
if
wanna
we
die.
cutting it or not.
You to tell me if you want to die or not from Jordan's hand.
Because his name should not be on our list, bro.
We definitely need LeBron James on our side now.
We got LeBron on our side, and we got Kobe on our side.
I just want to say shout out to Marcus Jordan and the trophy room. That's it. Just on record.
Sheesh.
I didn't mean it for any of that to sound as bad as it did.
Oh my gosh.
Where were we?
This man
Can we
just put
get
us
back?
This man just put us against the jump, man.
Can we
oh
get
my
back?
Gosh.
Hey,
You talked about endorsements, shoes.
Yeezy just jumped over jumping. Hey, shout out Adidas.
Oh my gosh.
Where were we? Can I get back? Can I
Yeah, let's get back. Oh my gosh.
We're gonna have that moment where you watch the Joe Budden
established-
podcast.
I'm looking at you, Greg. It's my Kobe year, not my Jordan year. I don't got to defend nobody. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do me.
a
Like,
city, and we have gone against
we,
Jumpman
I'm
there.
defending this city. I just said Jordan had a
You
son that wasn't that
really
great.
defended Cleveland,
Come on
but then
now.
you had to come back and go at Jordan.
Priority. Cleveland's better than Marcus Jordan. Cleveland is better than Marcus Jordan.
Oh,
You thought I said Michael?
you did at first.
No, I said Marcus. We were just talking at the same time.
But the comment,
The comment was bad. I admit
Offended
that.
Mike.
I admit that.
you know, when
I said worse things off air. And
That's
meant
not
them.
a good thing.
Can we switch
And
the
you don't
topic?
admit that on the air.
The more I talk, the more of a hole I'm going to dig myself
my gosh.
deep in.
Let's get to that
Y'all
topic.
were supposed to. This is when we talked about the
So talk
double
about
team.
Michael Jordan.
No, not Michael anymore. Let's just talk about somebody else.
I'm trying to segue.
no second.
Get up.
Hey,
Get up. Yo. Oh my gosh.
all I'm trying to say is
Gosh.
Kobe's daughter is gonna run the WNBA. Bronny's probably gonna make the league. Where did Marcus go? UCF.
Hey man.
So out of the big 3, we know the weak link.
Let's get back.
Y'all lucky Kobe didn't have a son.
You just called Michael
All right, so
Jordan
here
the
we go.
weak link.
I called Marcus Jordan the weak link.
All right, so here we go. All right. Everybody good?
Marcus got some nice shoes though. That's all I gotta say.
All right. You know in the Joe Budden podcast where they do that cut and they come right back. We gonna do that.
We might actually have to cut it and just stow that joint away.
No, we're gonna keep it.
No, I said stow it away. Yeah.
We're storing it.
My bad, y'all. We was having a
We
good
gotta keep that
pod.
around. When we get big, that's something we release.
That's gonna be hilarious.
That's like a million.
We gotta
when
wait
have
till-
a million
yeah.
subscribers. That's when you
When we got
that.
connections where I'm not gonna get.
When we are secure in our place.
Yeah.
When Jordan's dead or something, I don't know.
Cause I ain't gonna lie, like Jordan email you and tell you to kick me off the show. I'm leaving. Y'all can still have it in my house. I'll be in the background somewhere cheering y'all on. But
All right, so
what were we talking about?
we're talking about
I hope Bronny doesn't lose his love for the game. That's what we love.
right. And and the idea that LeBron and a lot of these athletes now have found themselves to be active in their sons' lives as they hoop. Melo, as an example, showing up to his son's games. D Wade, he's been present now.
CP3
LeBron.
with his younger one, Derrick
So,
Rose with his younger
exactly.
one. Yeah, I
PJ's
see a lot
popping
of.
up all the time.
And mind you, this has always been a trend. There's always been stars in the '90s that brought their kids around and showed them the game. There's people like Scottie Pippen who, like, I seen his son on the EYBL. He was supporting him.
He that Vandy now.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Shout out Scottie Pippen, a 90s Bulls legend, right there helping to mentor his kid.
I think he was a Sierra King last year.
I think he might have been Scottie. Yeah, Junior.
Yeah, that was Cassius. That was
Cassius Stanley. Yeah.
And
somebody else too. Kenyon Martin.
Kenyon
Martin's son. Shout out Kenyon Martin. Shout out these wonderful black fathers taking care of their kids, introducing them to probably introduced them to the game and then mentored it through them as well. We appreciate all black basketball dads. I'm so glad that you guys have stayed in your sons' lives to be fathers. And I just want to say we greatly appreciate y'all.
Great cleanup.
All right. I don't know what the next topic should be.
My bad, y'all.
I don't know what the next topic should be.
I mean, there's only one left today, ain't it?
Yeah.
All
right. So,
are we really gonna do this?
Really
Are you talking about that topic?
I mean, why not?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So, there's been a conversation that came up on Twitter. I was just perusing. It was late, so people start talking wild. And one of the questions was, is James Harden a better scorer than Kobe Bryant right now? I looked at the raw numbers, and the raw numbers would suggest that right now, currently, if he were to finish the season out at the same rate, James Harden would have a better scoring season than Kobe Bryant ever did, which would be, I think, 39.8.
It would be better than Jordan ever did, too.
Exactly.
Okay, better than a lot of people.
It's only 3 other players, and I think it's Wilt Chamberlain and
it's Will. Yeah,
It's Will.
Jordan averaged what 38.
Jordan
averaged 38.
Yeah, Kobe had 35.
So the question,
And Wilt had like 50, and then he had like a 40-something or 44, I think, season.
So are we watching James Harden become a better scorer than Kobe Bryant?
I'm gonna say this: James Harden not even the best scorer in the league today. The best scorer in the league today is coming off an Achilles injury. I think James Harden is in a system that allows him to put up a whole lot of numbers. That system fails in the playoffs. That's why a lot of people don't run that system. When you get down to the nitty-gritty of basketball, when you're such a great individual talent like James Harden, you could put up these numbers almost willingly.
Mm-hmm.
When you win with them, no. A lot of times it actually makes it harder to play. So there's times where I would rather him go 24, 4, and 3,
right,
and they win by 15, than him go 50 and they're in overtime.
So, and I think that's where a lot of the semantics of the questions come in so far, because the question has become, all right, we know Kobe's the better player. We recognize that,
and we're
Kobe
talking about
is the better player, but everyone that I've seen on Instagram and even some people I actually spoke with, they were like, just look at the tallies.
I can say
the points are the points. He's getting to the free throw line 20 times.
This is true.
He's throwing up 55 points. I mean,
yeah, he's
so it's like
he's averaging 14 free throws per game this season. He's averaging 38, 39 points a game.
So like I said, if you break it down to just the actual raw for what it is, tallies.
But like I said, when you take those raw numbers sometimes, it's like if I ask you, oh yeah, who's the best all-around player, right? Well, Russell Westbrook has averaged a triple-double for the last couple years. Do you think he's the best overall player just because the stats are saying that he's getting to these certain type of points more than another player? Like he's always one of the top 10 to 15 scorers in the league. Mm-hmm. He can double-digit assists, double-digit rebounds. Is he the best all-around player in the league? No, not even close. Numbers don't tell the full story. If Kevin Durant was in a system that allowed him to do what James Harden is doing, good Lord, everybody pray to God not to play them that night. It happens that way, but sometimes you substitute the individual for the team, and that's why you always hear there's no I in team. But with the Rockets, they can't even spell. So I'm not really going to get mad about what's happening. I think what he's doing is amazing, and I appreciate it as a fan of basketball. I don't think he's doing anything that Kobe couldn't. And that's why I don't think he's a better scorer than Kobe.
Okay. Brian? Because I've been joking with you about this for the last 3 days. Just getting under your skin.
It's not getting under my skin. It's really not. You want to know how it would get under my skin? If you actually had a leg to stand on.
Okay.
That's when it would get under my skin. It's not getting under my skin right now because I don't know any basketball person. This is the one time I actually would probably agree with Leak. The numbers in this scenario, especially raw numbers, do not matter. In this scenario, one of the few times I say this, and it'll probably be one of the last times I say this, raw numbers do not matter. Just basketball context alone. If you want, I'm throwing percentages and all that out of it.
Okay.
Basketball context alone. James Harden plays for Mike D'Antoni. In the system where literally it's give the ball to the primary ball handler and they get to do whatever they want with it. Granted, Steve Nash did it differently, but that was the system. Primary ball handler gets to make all the decisions. Case in point, James Harden gets to literally do whatever he wants every single time he wants to up the court and shoot as much as he wants to. Kobe Bryant, for the majority of his career, played in the triangle system.
You're going to run through all of your options.
He played in the triangle. A system that we all said destroyed Melo essentially at the end of his career. We all say it's outdated now. But back then, granted, it was pretty good for what it was. Right. But it was never just give the ball to your best player and just watch him work. It was, it was predicated on ball movement, player movement. And granted, Kobe got up a lot of shots. So did Jordan. So did Shaq. Your star players still got shots up. Right. But it was never, you get to make all the decisions.
It was never at will.
It was.
But you still ran through your progressions at
exactly.
some point.
Okay.
So that alone just destroys that argument. James Harden is always going to put up more raw numbers than pretty much anybody now. Not to mention the pace of play, style of defense, all that we can go back and forth with. I'm sure the old heads have argued about that enough. Now, if you talk about who's the better scorer, not gets to the free throw line more, because that's what James Harden does better than Kobe. And
whose scoring bag is bigger?
And only thing James Harden does more efficiently than Kobe is shoot from three. That's the only one he does significantly better.
Now, here, because I have no choice, because y'all on y'all side, I got to pick a side. So the reason why I bring this up in terms of you looking at what you say, score, not we're not looking at his bag. We're looking at his
scoring,
the talent, the ability, the points that he's putting up. That's what the argument's being made. It's not the argument being made of how he's doing it. It's the act of actually putting the ball in the hoop.
But what you're not seeing is
that's what people are saying.
That's an idiotic standpoint to take, because whoever leads the league in scoring that year they're just gonna say they're the best scorer in the league when that isn't true. Like when I think Russ has a scoring title.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook has never been close to being the best scorer in the league ever. I don't think I would even put him in the top 15 of scorers. He shoots the ball a lot. He handles the ball a lot.
But no,
doesn't mean you're a great
when
scorer.
You have the title and label of a scorer, it means offensively when it comes to putting the ball into the hoop, how much of an array can you actually showcase? Like, what's in your bag? Do you have the turnaround? Do you have the three? Can you score from all three levels? How do you score from all three levels? How effectively do you do it? How efficiently do you do it? Do you do it within the pace and play of the offense? Or is it just I'm getting my numbers kind of type of thing? It's a whole kind of different way to look at it.
Like, perfect example for you, when we sat here and we debated with Leak about Zion versus Brandon Ingram, who's taking the last shot. Zion probably is the more, especially if he develops into what we think he will be, is probably the more unstoppable player if he develops his game correctly. Okay. Like I said, he'll be unstoppable getting to the rim. We can all acknowledge that. But who's the better scorer is Ingram, because he does it from all three levels.
Like I said.
He can do it from the three, get to the rim, mid-range game, post up, pick and roll. Like, it's the idea of qualifies a great scorer, or the greatest scorers is whatever you give them. Doesn't matter what defense you play, I have something to do against
that's the whole sentiment I was making during that argument. I was saying that why Zion, like, if you think his first option is better than Brandon Ingram's first option, that's one thing. But what happens when that first option breaks down? Now Brandon has number 2, number 3, number 4. He has counters to go to. He can score from blah 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 blah. If Zion doesn't get that first one, I don't really see him getting up anything that's gonna look like a decent shot.
All right, so here's the last part. Then we could get out of here. Everyone who's outside of the game, who's just watching the game, would suggest that what James Harden does isn't good basketball, essentially, right? Correct? So the people watching at home say, like, I've seen people say, we can't watch this, it's boring, so forth, so on. He does the same thing over and over. But everyone in the league, guys that's guarding him, people that's having to defend him, and people that's on his team, so forth, so on, are saying the opposite, saying what he's doing right now is special. Mm-hmm. Everything we're seeing out of him is amazing. This man is great. He has a bag. All of that in the third. Why is there a disconnect there then? Why do we as fans or people who's looking from the outside struggle seeing the beauty in what James Harden is doing, but everybody on the court is seeing that?
So it's the equivalent of, I kind of put it in the same point of like, I think we're going to get to this point with Giannis as well. It's kind of the same thing we got to with Shaq. When a player masters one thing extremely well, for James Harden, you can say it's two. It's a step back and it's the ability to draw fouls. When a player masters an aspect of his game so well and he relies on it so heavily, it does get boring. It's just like anything. It's almost like, for everybody that plays video games, is when you get to a point in the video game where you recognize there's one trick that always works. Mm-hmm. And you just start using it every time. And for my 2K players,
just start spamming.
Y'all know what it is.
Yeah, you just
it was a spin cheese in 2K11. It was the blow by in 2017, step back, whatever you want to phrase it, no matter what game it is. When you start spamming it over and over and over and over, people just eventually go, I want something different. Show me a new trick. Show me something different. Granted, what you do works, and it is great. And once again, when we're talking about this conversation, I'm not saying James Harden is not one of the greatest scorers of all time.
Of course.
Absolutely he is. I'm not putting him in the category of Kobe, Jordan. I put Kevin Durant ahead of him. Like, those are guys I just say have more of a bag of tricks than him. Like, do you recognize, like, this year, over 55% of James Harden's shots are threes?
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
But that's the offense.
I mean, once again,
that's the league too, but like that's still from a scoring standpoint, that's a lot. Like we mentioned this last week with PG taking 59% of his shots from three. Mm-hmm. With the bag that he has on the offensive end, we would just like to see it diversified a little bit more.
Okay. And I mean, I'm only asking this because I am actually intrigued by this. Mm-hmm. I'm intrigued by how this is shaping out because we are looking at someone who is special. Like, there's no way to
generational talent. Yeah,
James Harden is a special ball player, but at the same time, no one want to watch them play. But everyone who's witnessing it up close, having to defend it, stay in front of him, they're not saying, "Oh, he's spamming one move." They're saying, we can't stop him.
I mean, I've heard some players go along that route too. Now, they don't outright say. They normally doing like a slick way of like, man, it's really hard to defend the guy who gets every single call. It's really hard to defend the guy who's always doing little, sometimes, like I said, that move where he hooks people's arm and he goes to the basket trying to draw the foul. Like, you've seen a lot of players come out and be like, man, yeah, I don't really like that. But they're not going to outright say, because they recognize James Harden, even if he didn't do that type of stuff, he's a 30-point scorer. Like, all those little tricks and stuff, that's what takes him from being a 28-point scorer to a 40-point scorer. It's those little tricks. And granted, he's mastered it. I can't be mad at him for it. You do what works for you. But I think there are some players who are kind of like, I mean, if I could do that or if I could get away with that, hey, I'd do it too. Like, it's not, some people don't find it fair. Like,
See, this is where we go back. All them times when I said, if you're not cheating, you're trying. A lot of people think that's cheap basketball.
And
if it works and you're winning, I'm all for it if it's within the rules of the game. Whether it's pulling a jersey, whether it's the same repetitive step back, whatever it is that gets you into the win column.
And that's why I would say that's where the conversation with him being a better scorer than Kobe has in, because when the pressure's on the line,
that doesn't work anymore. Yep, that doesn't work anymore.
It's been shown that's not effective anymore. Kobe is the opposite. Now, I'm not going to say Kobe never had a bad game in the playoffs, because everybody has. Kobe has some clunkers. He's a shooter. He shot the Lakers out of plenty of games. I watched. Mm-hmm. On the same token, Kobe's game was the same in the regular season, same in the playoffs, and it was really effective in both. James Harden, you cannot say that about.
Last pod, I think we talked about how there are 2 seasons, regular season, playoffs, and then they have to add up for your Hall of Fame resume. I forgot what we were discussing and going back. I think it was about Kawhi Leonard, about if he just like forgoes the regular season and only plays in playoff or whatever. But in terms of every ability and how you analyze anybody's characteristics and personality and their actual game, when you're that great, you do have to look at both of those type of tandems. Like, you have to be as good, or at least nearly as good, because everybody's number is going to drop a little bit in the playoffs. Yeah. But you have to at least show that it's still a method of effectiveness with what you're doing when the games matter the most. Regular season games matters, but they matter the most in the playoffs.
So the only contingency right now is if he's able, and
if he gets to the finals this year, bro, I'll shut up.
I'll say the same. If he gets to the finals with this style of basketball, we all gotta leave him alone.
I would have said it, and I think my personal opinion.
And I would hate it.
My personal opinion, he's up in the MVP conversation for me. I still got what Giannis and Luka are doing. Mm-hmm. Still a little bit ahead of him, but he's averaging 39. Like, realistically, if I had a vote, I would have to flirt with the idea of giving it to James Harden.
Right.
Because his running mate isn't looking too hot right now. So, but if he goes to the finals, so he goes through the West, maybe he beats both LA teams or whatever. He has to beat one or the other.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to take one of them out.
You got to get to the chip in the West. I can't really... There's nothing negative you can say about James Harden.
All right. Well, guys, comment below. We would like to see what y'all would say. Do y'all think James Harden is a better scorer than Kobe?
They're all going to say no.
Most likely.
Nah, you're going to have some people that say James Harden is, and I'm just going to be like, man,
and
the world we live in.
Also, what is the one thing that makes James Harden game boring to you, or if it's boring to you, or if it's not boring to you? Please comment below. We appreciate it. We getting out of here, man. It's been a pod.
My bad,
yo, Leak won't hear, and we probably went more reckless than we've been in a minute.
Everything was good.
That's what happens when you don't have anything to talk about, okay? That's exactly what happens when it's a quiet news week. People just get the rambling.
We need a trade. We need a trade. Somebody got to get traded.
Golly, man. Hey, B, where can we find you, bro?
Man, y'all know y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram at only1BeachM. I'm easy to find because I'm the only one out there. Hold up. Shout out to my boy Lamondre Gregg, Meadowbrook Basketball, dropping the 40-piece last Friday.
We can do shout-outs?
You on the flu game, baby. Good job.
I didn't know we could do shout-outs. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Did. He deserved it.
He's not here, but be sure to follow Coach Leak, KOACHLEEK. That's on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram at OneGreggy, on Twitter at Greggy Chillin'. You can follow the pod on Instagram at Hoops Minor Pod, on Instagram at on Twitter at a minor in hoops. Yeah, TK, send us home.
First and foremost, did we shout out Dunkman Keith on the mix?
We ain't shout out Dunkman.
Of course we didn't, because we got to start shouting out Dunkman Keith on the mix. Dunkman Keith is on the mix right now. You can follow him at Dunkman Keith on Twitter and Instagram, LinkedIn, Experian. Check his credit score out. I don't know. You can follow me at King Kamataman on Instagram and Twitter. I've kind of been low-key silent on my social media. I'm going to get back at it. My bad, y'all. I had to get in my bag and get in God's pocket. Y'all will understand that one day. And I want to give a special shout-out to the globalization of basketball done by one man in particular as the face, who I think we all respect and love dearly, and Michael Jordan. Shout out to you for revolutionizing the shoe game. Shout out to you for influencing my favorite player of all time, Kobe Bryant. I know you didn't mean to. He got better than you. That's just my opinion. You're still top 3, top 2.
Get this man off the mic. You them, Keith.
What? I tried to shout out Michael Jordan, yo. We love and appreciate you for everything you did.
Yo, he tried to suck up, but then said Kobe's better.
I'm too real.
Hey, look, man, we appreciate everyone who's watched, everyone who's listening.
Oh, my God.
All of the views and comments from those people watching. We appreciate it. Please continue to keep watching. Please continue to subscribe.
What I said.
Share with somebody else who loves the game. We appreciate all the love.
We're going to get blackballed by Jumpman.
Real quick, prayers and condolences out to John Wall. He lost his father
John Wall.
last week.
Yes, sir.
And we are praying for you and your family. And, yeah, that's it, man. As we always say, eat, sleep, breathe the game. We love you. We out. I don't even know if I should dab you, bro. I really don't. You just made his job so difficult.